Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's my great pleasure to welcome you to the second day's virtual conference of Thailand Halal Assembly 2020. My name is Nurisan Muhammad. It's my delight to be Master of Ceremony for today. First of all, I would like you to inform you of today's program of the 13th Halal Science Industry and Business Virtual Conference. The conference will start on the first topic, Challenge and Opportunities, Halal Science, Technology, and Innovation after COVID-19. And in next session, responding to Halal Science and Innovation, a global sustainability on ecology, economy, and equity. And in this afternoon, we start with responding to Halal Science and Innovation, a global in this afternoon, we start with scientific and innovation approach in the new normal era. And the last session for today, Halal Sphere, a pathway to establish science and innovation culture. Ladies and gentlemen, and all participants, before we start the first session during conference, I would like you to fill out the online evaluation form by click the link in the chat board. Okay, on this occasion, we will start for the first session on the topic Challenge and Opportunities, Halal Science, Technologies, and Innovation after COVID-19. May I introduce moderator in this session, Dr. Hendrati Dewi Mulyaning, Research Synergy Foundation, founder and chairman of Global Network Indonesia. Her area of expertise, qualitative analysis, entrepreneurship, innovation, strategic management, and business development. Please welcome Dr. Hendrati Dewi Mulyaning. Please.
Okay, thank you so much for the MC for opening the speech, and honorable guests and distinguished keynote speaker, respected scholars, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Selamat pagi from Indonesia. On behalf of the committee, I as a moderator extend a warm welcome to all of you. And then I will start it with the first speaker. The first speaker will be goes to Professor Dr. Irwandi Jaswir. Okay, Professor Irwandi Jaswir is King Faisal International Prize laureate in 2019 in service to Islam, and then he is also Indonesian Institute for Science LIPI. He got Indonesian Institute for Science LIPI Award in 2019, and he is also renowned scholar in halal science and a world-class scientist with the high index 28 with 2,000 citations, and also a lot of awards and also patent and also research and etc. There are 44 pages that already sent to me regarding with his curriculum vitae, and I cannot mention one by one. I do apologize, Prof. And he is right now for the current positions as a professor of food chemistry and biochemistry International Islamic University Malaysia, and also former director and deputy dean in International Institute for Halal Research and Training in HART, International Islamic University Malaysia, and also secretary of EEUM Council of Professors. And he is also got the bachelor degree from Institute Pertanian Bogor, Indonesia, and Master of Science in Food Science in Bioteknologi University Pertanian Malaysia, and Philosophy of Doctor in Food Chemistry and Biochemistry in University Putra Malaysia, and also PhD exchange programs in Department of Food, Nutrition, Health, University of British Columbia, Canada, and Diploma in Islamic Civil Knowledge, International Islamic University Malaysia, and also postdoctoral fellowship in Lipid Biochemistry, National Food Research Institute, Tsukuba, Japan. Okay, so there are a lot of CV from him regarding with the professional experience, research, patent, award, and etc. and he has a numerous amazing grade in research and also in some kind of patent and commercialization in their research. Irwandi Jaswir, so time is yours, Prof. You got 20 minutes for the presentations. Please welcome.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Madam Chairperson, Dr. Hendrati, and fellow speakers. We have Professor Suhaimi, my old friend from UVM, and also Dr. Puan Pimor, from Thailand. The topic that I would like to share with all the participants this morning, COVID-19, food safety and halal food authentication. I'm Irwandi Jaswir again, and I'm currently attached to International Institute for Halal Research and Training, IUM Malaysia. So as we all know that COVID is a new thing that the entire world faced the problem since end of last year and also beginning of the year. It is a new illness that can affect your lungs, and then it may cause various symptoms. And the causes of the COVID-19, as you know, is a type of virus, coronavirus. It is spread in sneeze of cough droplets, and current evidence suggests that the virus can spread as easy as the flu virus that circulates every winter. And then it is a world phenomena. I would say world phenomena that every country, every single country face the same problem. Very rare to see that a country that do not have that pandemic, except perhaps maybe the way they handle are different from one country to another. But everyone is agreed that it is a critical problem for the entire world. What food safety? So in terms of the term food safety describes all practices that are used to keep our food safe. So it is much related to the pandemic because everyone is worried about the pandemic, the virus, and then we always think that it may interact with our food because the way food delivered to us is also a new norm now. It's come to our house because we order online, etc. So food safety relies on the joint efforts of everyone involved in our food supply. And all along the food chain, from farmers to producers to retailers and caterers, legislation and controls are in place. And of course, it is different from one country to another, how the country take this pandemic, the seriousness of the pandemic. And personally, we each have a role to play as well. But in food safety, the main issue is always food poisoning. Even though we know that the effect of the worst scenario of food safety could be more dangerous than food poisoning. Food poisoning, also known as a foodborne illness or food-related illness, is caused by eating food that has been contaminated by bacteria, viruses, or parasites. Food can become contaminated by these microorganisms at any time before you eat it, including at home, especially during this pandemic. And the cause of food poisoning could be various. It started from bacteria and viruses, parasites, mold, allergens, even the allergen for some people who are allergic to certain chemicals or certain compound. And then toxins like mycotoxins, bacterial toxins, and of course contaminants, other than the rest, like contaminant pesticide. veterinary drugs, heavy metals, etc. So within the pandemic COVID-19 crisis, food safety is a big issue now. As we look at the previous scenario, SARS or MERS or SARS virus circulate mainly among animals, and for COVID-19, we still do not know, not sure at least, what the cause, how it is transferred to human. Some of these viruses are also known to infect humans. The virus is spreading from person to person, mainly through respiratory droplets that people cough, sneeze, or exhale. Food is not a route of transmission for these relevant viruses. However, transmission is possible if an infected individual touches food, then another individual collects it and touches the eyes or mucous membranes of the mouth. Fresh foods may also be exposed to COVID-19 before being frozen. Then the transmission may happen. I repeat again, may happen, because there's some unclear phenomena now. Even WHO said that it could be COVID cannot be transmitted through food. A recent report showed that COVID-19 can be transmitted through frozen or refrigerated food, such as pork, meat, and salmon. Even in the beginning, WHO said no, but the recent report showed it is. The handling of packages should be followed by extensive hand washing or sanitizing in order to minimize any risk from touching food potentially exposed to COVID-19. FDA recommended the sanitation and cleaning of surfaces for food, restaurant, and kitchen. So food handlers, food retailers, and then food operators takes more sanitation and cleaning during this pandemic compared to other situation. But from that issue, COVID, food safety. So when we relate to halal industry, it is much relevant. Why? Because halal is not only about the halal definition, but it's also include the Taliban aspect. Part of the Taliban aspect is a cleanliness, sanitation, cleanliness, and free from risk. In halal industry, it may the contamination may come to the halal materials, and also during that processing. We know that in halal food chain, the halal from A to Z, and also the Taliban aspect from A to Z. So if what I have mentioned earlier, that the contamination could be happen during this process, processing or transport or storage or handling. So the concept of a Taliban should be also taken care by the food operators. In halal products, raw material processing authentication are three main issues, and this is a critical areas for halal. And then we have to add, that the potential of Taliban aspect in this case is contamination, especially for COVID-19 phenomena. Okay, I think we all of us are very familiar with this in terms of halal. Okay. Now, target and production capacity. This is for example, is the gelatin in Indonesia. As I mentioned here, that most of these products are from pig already commercially processed and used in the industry. And the gelatin is one of them. And then we see here the data from Indonesian Badan Pusat Statistik saying that Indonesia import a lot of halal gelatin, the halal and non-halal. Up to September 2018, Indonesia import close to 3 million kilogram of gelatin. So this is one of the issue in Indonesia. In many Muslim countries, I believe that we also facing the same problem, and we import a lot of food ingredients. And then this is what from my current research with the Indonesian Komite Nasional Keuangan Syariah, the project completed last year, that Indonesia actually got a potential to produce themselves for this type of ingredients, from gelatin, flavors, oil resin, seasoning, enzyme, food colorants, antioxidant, emulsifier, etc. But we do not have priority to do that at the moment. So meaning that we still import this type of food ingredients. So in terms of halal authentication, I believe that we have to include now the analysis for COVID, when we relate to the COVID. So we talk about COVID, I think the most suitable instrument here is the PCR perhaps, and also rapid test kits, But in terms of measures and all the parameters that we have to take care, I think the cleanliness and then the part of the microbiological measures are more relevant. This is some of the analysis that we have conducted, lots and other oils, and then we use a Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy. I don't think that in this COVID-19 phenomena, FTIR is suitable. But for halalness, yes, we can use this FTIR. This is electronic nose, similar to the other rapid tests. We also develop a rapid test for detection of non-halal meat. This one using the conventional electronic nose. Biomolecular biology technique is more relevant for halal and also Taiwan aspect, especially during the pandemic, whereby we can use PCR and then RT-PCR for detection of the virus. Okay, this is for halal things here. In terms of the use of PCR for detection of a non-halal contamination, we just reported here in Food Control, 2017, published 2017, that we use that PCR, that method, to identify various products in one of the country Middle East. We extract the DNA from the gelatin, in snacks product. So I mean the products, food for children, that the country mostly import the products. The country mostly import the product. Alhamdulillah, we managed to publish here in the one of the top journal in the food science. And then also we do analysis for alcohol and khamar. We use gas chromatography, GC-TOF. Okay, in some country like Indonesia, we are allowed to use industrial ethanol for solvent up to 0.5%. And then this is how this finding is more relevant, because we can differentiate between industrial ethanol and khamar or alcoholic beverages like red wine, cooking wine, white wine. For khamar or alcoholic beverages, the tolerance is 0. We cannot take it because it is considered haram. Okay, in terms of authentication research post COVID-19, I would say that these 3 important technology will take place. Data science. In our university, we started studies on this by collaborating with our fellows from Kuliah of ICT, Information and Communication Technology. And then development of device for rapid tests. We know that it's not all the data need to be taken to the lab. Why? Because some of the data are urgently needed. We need the data very, very immediately or very rapid. And then the halal authentication in digital platform. Yeah. The question now is how the university take that challenge. Yeah, how the university take the challenge. We may see that not all the universities are ready for that, especially in the Muslim countries, third world country, whereby there are only very few universities in the country are ready to take the challenge. Yeah, meaning that from research to innovations. We see here some data. If we think that we have to strengthen the industry, we should be in this stage, meaning in the blue color, because blue color means the research that have been in the business enterprises stages. Yeah, compared to the red and green. Green means under government, we rely on the government very much. And then higher education, we still do the research for the sake of the universities only, not for the business enterprise. So the countries like Korea and Japan, they're already 70 and 80% respectively. Yeah, the research are business oriented. Yeah, compared to Malaysia, for example, 21%. And then some other countries like Vietnam, 24%, and Cambodia, 33%, 3.3%. Unfortunately, I don't have the data for Indonesia. So this is a 10 technology drivers, yeah, meaning this technology to be there, yeah, in the 20, 30 years to come, yeah. Even though we already see the technology at the moment, like AI, advanced materials, and neurotechnology, blockchain, 6 of these are related to IT. Yeah, and my concern is that are we ready for that? The universities in that concerned about halal are ready for that, because when we do research on halal, we should include this technology. So how the SNT drivers are derived? It is derived from the numbers of patents registered in the world, IPO. So meaning that agreed or not, this technology will be there. And if we do not research, we do not halal research related to this, we will be lacking behind, left behind also. This is some research that we have done. For example, data analytics, I think I just make it quick here. And then we already published. Yes?
1 minute more.
Yes, okay, thank you. And then this is a peak adulteration that this is just an example how we do this data analysis. And then we already published another data research using the title FTIR. Data for halal non-halal adulteration prediction analytic using an induction decision tree algorithm. So this is a big data technology, yeah. And then also this another technology, rapid test, okay. And then we use it for both ethanol and lard detection. And then digital, this as I mentioned just now, more the halal industry now move to the digital. So those who grab the opportunity will be there. Yeah, for example, Aladdin Group in Malaysia, they managed to sponsor the most or the richest club in the world, Manchester United, with millions of dollars a year. Yeah, so we see here. Yeah, and then challenges in the halal authentication, of course, a blockchain technology, because most of the Muslim countries are not there yet. Another challenge is, of course, the standard when it comes to the digital platform. And what about the standard? Yeah, because most of the standard in halal standard are. Before I end my presentation, Dr. Hendrati, I would like to introduce our journal here, International Journal of Halal Research, and now already in the 3rd year. So we welcome all the researchers to submit the journal, the article to our journal. It is open access journal. And then it includes science and non-science research. I think that's it. What I have. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Prof. Insightful speech. I know that there are a lot of things that we can get from Professor Irwandi Jaswir, but we have a limited time, Prof. I do apologize. And we will have answer and questions after the sessions. And right now we will go to the next presenter, the next speaker. It will be goes to Professor Dr. Suhaimi Mustafa. Okay. Professor Dr. Suhaimi Mustafa is a professor and currently is a dean of Faculty of Biotechnology and Biomolecular Science in University of Putra, Malaysia, and also he is a lecturer in Department of Microbiology, Faculty of Biotechnology and Biomolecular Science. And right now he is also a research associate in Halal Product Research Institute Putra Infoport University Putra, Malaysia. And he is also have numerous research regarding with halal and also microbiology, food biotechnology, and IHSATEC, and also recipient in National Science Fellowship from Ministry of Science, Technology, and Environment. Okay, there are a lot of achievement and award also. So I cannot mention one by one. Sorry, Prof. And yeah, so time is yours now, Prof. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hendrati Dwi Mulia Ningsih, for the kind introduction. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning. Thank you to the organizer, especially to Dr. Vinay Dahlan and his team for inviting me to talk in this very significant conference, and also greeting salam to my fellow halal scientists, Professor Dr. Irwandi, Dr. Hamida, and Dr. Hendrati. And just now, Prof. Irwandi already explained to us, informed us a lot of things regarding the halal. And now I will compliment and share with you to what Prof. Irwandi already mentioned just now, maybe from a different perspective, a little bit of different perspective. I will share with you my screen. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, Prof. Yes.
Okay, so the title for my talk this morning is Halal Authentication, Future Outlook Trends, and several methods already explained by Prof. Irwandi just now, already highlighted by him. And what I would like to share this morning is something like, the real situation or the actual situation, what is going on in this halal industry. And before that, I'll be also maybe sharing with you some of the role of the university. Yeah? So this is the content of my presentation this morning. First, I'll be talking about the halal research and education ecosystem in Malaysia, and then a little bit about the halalan thayyiban concept already mentioned in lengthy by the previous speakers in the previous session yesterday as well as today. And then I will touch a little bit on the halal food fraudulent and some of the issues that are going on around the world. And I think that is very important for us to be aware and how we can, improve the system that we have currently. Because I don't think that the system that we develop is like 100%. So there's still some room for improvement, updating, and so on, that we can do in the future based on the current situation that is happening around the world. And then lastly, I will be talking about the halal food authentication a little bit. I will be touching only a few methods. Some already explained by Prof. Randi just now. So this is the role of the universities or the halal research institution. In Malaysia, we have higher institution of higher learning that offering formal halal education in terms of the academic programs. So we have a halal program at the level of certificate, diploma, bachelor degree, as well as master and PhD. And the university or the institution of higher learning that related to halal also do research, innovation and commercialization, as mentioned by Prof. Andi, that in general we are still lacking, the business commercialization aspect of the research output from the university. So we are trying to maybe somehow have to improve on that. Yeah. So we do research, innovation, and commercialization in halal product science, halal product development, sharia, halal laws, and halal product management. These are the major 4 areas that most of the universities or institutions basically doing or embarking on. Yeah. And in Malaysia, we are also establishing a group of universities that do research in halal, what we call consortium. Yeah, and the name is Consortium Halal IPT Malaysia, or in short, KIHIM, was established in 2017 by the Ministry of Higher Education. And this consortium comprises of currently 4 universities. University Putra Malaysia, International Islamic University of Malaysia, where Prof. Irwandi is working now, and we have University of Malaya as well as University Science Islam Malaysia. So these 4 universities will work together to do the collaboration and coordination of the programs, research activities, yeah, and then we are sharing expertise because each maybe institution has their own strength or their niche. So maybe among the 4 important universities, we can work together to complement each other, and we can also share facilities, because you know that it's not easy to develop the facilities, especially to do research. And requires a lot of money, a lot of resources, and so on. So if we can share together, then we don't have to waste so much money on getting the same equipment, the same facilities, and so on. So we can share together. So we hope that with this formation of consortium, we can do research more actively and more significantly in the future. Yeah. So we all know that halal is very important and become a source of economy for the world, and halal is also being or benefiting not just Muslim but non-Muslim, especially in the production of halal product and so on. Yeah, and generating a lot of money. Yeah, industrially, economically, halal is very important, but we have to also look at the the brand halal that we always promoting. Yeah, besides the economy, and the halal brand also is another aspect that we have to be careful with, because as opposed to other brand which are created by human, yeah, this halal brand is actually coming from Allah. So if this halal brand coming from Allah, that means Muslim or non-Muslim, they have nothing to do with this innovation of the halal, the name of halal, but we have big responsibility to take care of this halal, to make sure that the halal brand is always at the top. We don't want like this halal brand just like other brand that sometimes go up and sometimes go down. So we have to, because this halal brand coming from Allah, we have to preserve it, maintain it properly. We have no choice but must keep this halal at very higher level. Yeah. And as I told just now, that halal is not just for Muslim but also for non-Muslim. But in the real situation, especially for Muslim, yeah, and the food that we consume every day, we are getting from the, fresh. We are not talking about the processed, highly processed here, because that one already mentioned many times in many other halal conference. Now we try to divert our focus a little bit, not looking at the commercial or business economic, but look at what we are facing every day. In everyday day life, where we cook the food, where we get the food from. So normally we will get the fresh, the raw, the fresh, like beef, the raw beef, fresh beef, the fresh chicken, raw chicken, and then we cook our kueh, bread, pastries, getting the ingredient from the just normal shop, So that's what happening to our people, Muslim people, when they get their food for daily consumption, isn't it? So there are a lot of things actually happening in that process. For example, we might get our ingredient from the halal certified brand, or sometimes we will get it from the source which has no halal status known, and so on. And that is happening in our daily life. So how do we handle this situation? So that's the thing that we have to look into. For example, the meat that we get, the meat that we get from the maybe imported or slaughtered locally and so on. How do we make sure that the meat is really halal? I think that is the first step that we have to consider before looking at, maybe before this we look at the bigger perspective, the world perspective, and so on. Now we try to come back to the real situation that we are facing every day. Please check, because we have a lot of issues. For example, we have a case of the imported meat, fresh meat bring into the country with a fake or doubtful halal logo is happening. I share with you this report in 2019, just last year. We have this issue, and then this year we have another problem. Where during the transportation of the meat product into the country, there was a fraudulent, or the cheating, or the false claiming or false labeling the meat taken from non-halal sources, bring to the country. Along the way, they put the halal logo and so on, and happening in one country, and this situation can also happen to the other country. Can happen in country A, can also happen in country B, country C, country D, all over the world. So how do we control this? So it seems like, the system that we have now need to be looked into again and need to be improved. Otherwise, we are producing halal certified product, processed product for I'm not sure, we are not consuming that even every day, but the one that we consume every day is not really genuinely or halal. So that is the most important, I think, for us that consider. And there are a lot of things going on around the world about these issues, so that we have to really take care. And as a scientist, maybe what we can do is to help the authority to develop the system that can trace and can ensure that the product come into the country is halal. Another issue that I would like to share with you that is happening around the world is the possibility of exploiting pig blood, as reported in this magazine. Just recently, October 2020, in one country, European country, they produced 60,000 tons of pig blood that has the potential to be used in the food system. And they are saying that, and in fact, they said that the protein obtained from this pig blood is of high quality and even higher than the other conventional source of protein. So that's maybe, will be happening in the future, that we have to be careful, and we have, as a scientist, have to get ready with that possibility, with all the technique, maybe, to detect if this kind of ingredient coming into the country or coming into the product exported to Muslim countries. So we are ready with the technology to detect, differentiate, and inform the authority that the product might have this kind of ingredients. And the coffee, even though it's like just instant coffee, nothing fancy, nothing complicated, just an instant coffee. But some instant coffee without any halal logo are circulating around, consuming by the people in the country. And if we check detail the ingredient, they contain collagen, and we know that collagen is very critical ingredient, and yet they are around and being consumed maybe knowingly or unknowingly by the people. Yeah, so we have to be careful. And another thing that I would like to share with you is because now we are in the 21st century with the IR 4.0 and everything, as mentioned by Prof. Bandi just now, yeah, with the technology, everything. And another technology that might come into the Muslim world in the very near future is about this future food. Yeah, and people are talking about that. Yeah, what is future food and why this future food is very popular nowadays? Because of the lifestyle of the people. Yeah, they want to get food very fast and so on. And at the same time, they said that this future food will conserve the environment, will save the earth, and so on. But we have to look also at the halal angle, halal aspect. Yeah. So how this future food being produced, and what are the ingredients that they use for the future food? And we as a Muslim scientist, are we ready to accept that? Are we ready to, detect the present or determine the existence in the product or not? So we have to get ready. Yeah. If this coming to the country, and we already have all the technology and to counter or to make sure that they are halal. For example, here the chicken meat, the artificial chicken meat cultured in the lab using a cell from the animal. So what is the halal issue there? Maybe they get the cell without proper halal Sharia compliant. Yeah. So maybe there is issue there. Another issue is that this chicken meat also can be produced from the chicken feather. We have a lot of chicken feather, get the protein and then mix with the other ingredient, and then they mold it into a nugget. So we have that kind of product. But the issue is if the feather obtained from the chicken without going Sharia compliant slaughtering process. So we have to think about that. Maybe the Sharia, our ulama, mufti have to look into that issue. And this product is already in the pipeline. At any time they will come into our country. For example, here in Singapore, they are already studying and possibility of selling it to their people, and it's very nearby to us. Yeah, so anytime maybe from Singapore can go to Indonesia, Malaysia, Brunei, Thailand, and so on. So that's why we have to be very very rapid, quick in handling this issue. Maybe the artificial meat is halal, yeah, and if it's halal then it's good, but we have to be careful. Maybe not halal. So yeah, that's the thing that we have to consider. And not just for human food, but the animal feed also has a lot of issues. And many scientists, investigating the possibility of using porcine-based material as the ingredient in the animal feed. Yeah, if they use it in quite a substantial amount and continuously giving to the animals, so what is the issue? So if that is happening, are we ready to differentiate, detect, and so on? Yeah. So example, we have a pellet for chicken, for poultry, for cattle, for fish, aquaculture industry, and so on. Yeah. And even the cat food, cat food is clearly contain pork liver. It's mentioned clearly in the label. So, but are Muslim aware of that? And when they give the food to the cat, are they touching it? Are they put it properly without touching it? Because it's clearly contain pork, and if we touch it, maybe pork is najis mughalazah, and if you touch it, we become contaminated. And if we don't do the sertu process and so on, so what happened to our prayer, everything? Because we are all already contaminated. So these are the things that we have to consider in the future, yeah. And of course, we have the technology. I don't want to go detail. I will share only a few methods that we developed in the lab to help the authority or to share with everybody, yeah, so that we can take care among our people. Not just we are taking care of our people from COVID very seriously, yeah, nowadays, but we should also take care of ourselves from all this contamination very seriously, also the same as what we handling the COVID-19 situation. Yeah, so we want to be the same at par. When we handle the COVID, we are doing it very seriously. And if we handle the halal, we have to also do it very seriously. Yeah, so please take note of that. All right, so for the porcine blood plasma, we have the technology to detect using.
Excuse me, 1 minute more. Is it okay?
Okay, I will wrap up my presentation.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, so we have the technology and already published by our scientists where we developed the specific antibody to detect the presence of porcine plasma in the sample, and then we have the rapid DNA-based technology, real-time PCR to detect the presence of even porcine DNA in the animal feed. Yeah, so it's very common technique, but very useful and very significant. Even now, a COVID-19 test also using real-time PCR. Yeah, so we have the same technology to detect the presence of this porcine using the same technology, real-time PCR. So meaning that this technology real-time is very important. Yeah, not just for, yeah, previously we do for halal, but now even COVID-19 tests also use real-time PCR. So we cannot deny the importance of this technology. Yeah, and also the metabolomic profiling that we can do in the future, because now we have issues. As I told you just now that we have issues of meat maybe non-halal coming into the country and then labeled as halal. Yeah, maybe the meat is not slaughtered according to Sharia way. So if we can develop a method, example here based on the metabolomic profiling, we can differentiate, because the animal will respond if they slaughtered according to Sharia way, and if they are being slaughtered according to conventional way, the animal will be responding differently and they will produce a different metabolite. And if you can profile them, separate them, then maybe we can identify that the meat coming to the country is slaughtered according to Sharia way or not. Yeah, so this is the thing that we can do. Yeah, and the metabolic profiling can be done using NMR, nuclear magnetic resonance, or mass spectrometry using LC or GC. So we can try that technology to differentiate. We are in the process of doing that, but I open. Yeah, in fact, the many people, especially the Muslim halal scientists, do the research. I think the more beneficial to everyone. Yeah. And but of course, you know, everything has the challenge, the same as the thing that we do in the lab, and also the commercialization has the challenge. So once we develop the technology, there will be a lot of questions being asked. So one of the challenge that we have to answer every single question before we can really have the technology used by the authority. So sometimes quite challenging, quite tiring, and quite frustrating. But as a scientist, as a passionate scientist, we don't have to give up, but continue working. Hopefully, in the future, we can help all the Muslims to get real halal food. Yeah. So and as I told just now that in Malaysia we have the consortium for halal institution, and this concept maybe we can also apply for the world. You know, the world. We have a lot of universities, institutions doing the halal research, and especially from the Muslim country. And if we can form a organization, you know, that we can exchange, share, collaborate, and so on, I think will be better in the future. Yeah. So I think that's all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for listening.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Prof. Suhaimi Mustafa, regarding with the call for awareness regarding with how we can lend in hand make international movement regarding with how it can tackling some of issue challenge regarding with this one. So it's very insightful, and I do agree with you regarding with how all of us, I mean, like we are in as one of the researcher in Muslim country should aware regarding with this one. And yeah, I do hope we can make like this international movement from us consortium, not only in Indonesia but also in ASEAN and also in the world. I do hope that. Okay, thank you, Prof. Okay, we go to the next keynote speaker, because I do apologize, Prof. We have a limited time. we go to Dr. Hamida Muhammad. She is head of academic service in research divisions, the Halal Science Center, Chulalongkorn University, and also she is product specialist in robotic for pharmacy compounding, molecular biology instrument, and laboratory instrument at Advanced Development Co. Ltd. And also researcher in the project of discrimination of Bacillus anthracis using DNA and IHSATEC. And she is holding the Doctor of Philosophy in Biotechnology in Faculty of Science, Maidal University, with the research topic high-level accumulation of soluble diphtheria toxin mutant with sorry if I'm pronounced not good. Co-expression of coronavirus in recombinant coli. Okay,
yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So time is here, Prof. In 20 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for kind introduction, Dr. Hedayati. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, speaker, Professor Dr. Edwandi, Professor Dr. Suhaimi, and Dr. Hedayati. And today I would like to talk about the trustworthiness of halal food products, authentication by science, technology, and innovation in Thailand. This outline of my talk today, we would like to talk about the COVID-19 pandemics and trust halal science. And then we would like to talk about the pathway of halal science technology and innovation for assuring halal safety and integrity. And then finally, we update the new technique and innovation of science technology in the Halal Science Center under COVID-19 pandemic. Since COVID-19 pandemic from Wuhan in China, no one would ever have thought that we could experience a virus that infect over 70 million people around the world and kill over 1 million people and change our lifestyle in such a short period of time. The economic impact of COVID-19 outbreak could be assessed in several ways, such as cost, employment could drop if business are disrupted and productivity would fall. And then changing behavior to avoid infection. WHO has introduced fear factors, is the word that could lead to slower economic activities and leading to negative effect. And then lower labor productivity. This could be happen if workforce get ill or bad mentality. And then slower economic activity in some sectors, such as agriculture and food. And several years ago, epidemic has been traced to farm animals such as H1N1. And tourism and transportation, people usually try to avoid unnecessary travel during epidemics. And then trade and retail industry, consumer fear and lower spending will hit the restaurant and retail industry. And the last one, locking down in several cities for protective measure to prevent further outbreaks. So, doctor, hospitals, scientists, researchers, and Center of Disease Control and Prevention is the most trust group on COVID-19. A safe and effective COVID-19 vaccine will be a remarkable feat and the true turning point in the pandemic. As long as the world has not found an effective vaccine for COVID-19, we may have to adjust to new normal, meaning a new way of living and going about our life, works, and interaction with other people, such as wearing masks, hand sanitizers, social distancing, work from home, online delivery and learning, avoid crowd places, cashless shopping, and disinfection households. Thailand government has declared the measure that prevent the spread of coronavirus, announcements curfew to ban people from leaving their house during 10 p.m. to 5 p.m. And the practice of social distancing, and the restaurant are switched from sit-down customer in facility to home delivery. And the food delivery is an opportunities to be a successful business in this period. This slide shows revenue in the online food delivery segment is projected to reach 275 million US dollar in 2020 and forecast to 455 million US dollar in 2024. Under situation COVID-19 epidemic and under food delivery service is booming. The forensic science laboratory received suspected meat to detect porcine DNA. Sender from Bangkok said that he brought meat from a Muslim seller and delivered to his home. And the color of meat are different from original beef when he cooking. After we receive meat sample, we analyze them with real-time PCR, and the results show the positive DNA like this. And the results mean this meat sample is pork. How does pork enter to the Muslim society? After that, more than 40 meat samples sent to the Halal forensic science laboratory for testing porcine DNA. All of beef that you see, contamination with porcine DNA. More than that, some of meat sample is pork. When we trace back of meat samples, all of meat sample without halal certified, but Muslim is seller. That means Muslim consumer purchase meat on Muslim seller without considering the halal certified. And COVID-19 situation, layoffs have become so widespread. Food delivery as the option job for Muslim. And price of meat, price of beef is more expensive than pork. As a result, the adulteration pork into beef for more profit. So we conclude that Halal forensic science is the important role to support the scientific information for solve this problem. Okay, and I would like Halal science technology and innovation have important role in every pathway of production. Start with the halal feed innovation in agricultural products preparation and halal forensic science, checking the raw materials and replacements of the valuable raw material into the products, and implementation with halal standard and halal system for the production, and halal forensic laboratory to checking the products and use halal packaging and halal logistics and traceability, and use halal IT tracking and including consumer education for halal. So I would like to update the new technique of the halal science laboratory for screening haram adulteration in raw material or ingredients and products. When samples sent to our laboratory, our scientists consider to the haram substance containing the sample and then extract to the 5 substance, lipid, alcohol, DNA, protein, and polar. This slide shows the instrument for lipid analysis. We have FTIR for phospholipid analysis and sensing electronic nodes for odor and flavor analysis, and GCMS, GCFID, and DSC for fatty acid profile. And this instrument for protein-based analysis and this slide shows the protein-based analysis and micropore reader for colorimetry assay to detect the gelatin, and FTIR for enzyme and hormone analysis for slaughter products, and then LCMS, MS for distinguish origin of the gelatin. This is the DNA-based instruments. We have PGM, is the personal genome machine for sequencing DNA of animal species, and real-time PCR, digital doublet PCR, and nano drop to detect animal and parasite DNA in single and multiplex assays. New technique of the Halal Science Center, we can analyze bovine and parasite in gelatin capsule using LCMS, MS, and the real-time PCR. Moreover, this Dr. Anand from HSC can detect 9 haram species using multiplex HIM assays, and he produced nucleic acid strip trace for detection 5 haram species in one step. This slide shows the overall of analysis from 204 and 218. We analyzed 134,000 analysis of gelatin, fatty acids, DNA, polar, and alcohol. And 4 analytical techniques of HSC for non-halal material were published on halal food production books, and also we published on Journal of Food Protection. This slide shows implementation of a HALQ system in 720 entrepreneurs to their production. The pie charts categorized by type of the products. And this publication showed the evaluation of efficiency of implementation in HALQ system developed by HSC. The bar chart show when entrepreneurs have HALQ implementation, they show no contaminate with haram things. In 2013, the Halal Science Center won the Public Sector Excellence Award for HALQ innovation for halal assurance and liability quality system. Recently, we got award again in the Public Sector Excellence Award for its H number innovation system for accurately checking additive in halal food. H number is database of food additive halal that we categorize into 3 groups: halal ingredient by fatwa and halal ingredient by certification and must boost ingredients. Everyone can download application H4E number available in both App Store and Play Store. Last but not least, under COVID-19 pandemic, we have training digital e-commerce to startup and SME entrepreneurs, such as photography technique, online platform, and e-commerce platform of HSC through Thai Shop and EdShop. Okay, we would like to thank Associate Professor Dr. Vinay Dahlan for support the information of the Halal Science Center, and Assistant Professor Dr. Siri Kwanpong for support the information of the detection of gelatin by LCMS, MS, and Mr. Anat Denjingyot for support the technique of the strip test. And I would like to thank all of HSC staff for the information of this slides. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, thank you, Dr. Hamida. Okay, now we go for the question and answer. But before I go start to that question and answer, I will make like conclusion, not conclusion, but I just giving a summary regarding with the point of the importance of every speaker already speech. For example, for the Professor Irwandi Jaswir, there are adding criteria for the food security in terms of Taliban and the awareness of how to make urgency for devices for the rapid test, adding rapid test for the like COVID exposed in pre or during or post processing of the food. So this is kind of concern to all of us regarding with how we have to aware regarding with this COVID. And then for Prof. Suhaimi Mustafa, it is how important we made like rebuilding halal research and education ecosystem in all around the world. I mean, like how it is like call for awareness to all of the country, especially a Muslim country that have Muslim populations, and how we can lend in hand this like international movement to make it happen, like to lend in hand tackling the issue regarding with the halal issues and etc. And also for Dr. Hamida, I could found that how important halal forensic science because in this halal forensic science giving important role in supporting scientific information in solving the problem regarding with the issues of the fraud of the process of toibah and halal process and etc. So it's very great opportunity for me myself also especially because having a lot of information from the speaker. And now we go for the questions. This is question from for all of the speakers. The topic of the session is challenge and opportunity related with COVID-19. So this also should mention about that as well. Okay, because I just read it, and then yeah. So we can start it from Prof. Irwandi, and then Prof. Suhaimi, and then Dr. Hamida. Okay. So because this is related with the challenge and opportunity related with COVID. Okay, Prof.
Yeah, thank you for the questions. Yes, we relate the halal industry to the pandemic or outbreak that we are facing at the moment. I agree there with all the speakers, Dr. Hamida, Dr. Prof. Suhaimi, that we have to take care of this because this is something that we are lacking of. To be honest, I always mention this that most of Muslim countries are very lacking. Actually, we are lacking everything, but when related to this, we are lacking in quote-unquote biodefense technology. So we do not have enough capacity on how to handle the COVID-19. As a proof here, when it just at the beginning of the outbreak, most of Muslim countries like Indonesia or Malaysia or other Muslim countries, we do not know what to do. You know, we don't know how to check the existence of the virus. In Indonesia, for example, the numbers of PCR is very limited and not integrated, not coordinated, well coordinated. So we are not talking about the vaccine yet, the halal vaccine, how to do this, and then because at the moment, those who produce the vaccines, like China, Germany, America, Japan, India, etc., and none of them are from Muslim countries. So we are a big buyers market for this kind of thing. So it shows that we are not ready in this situation. So to me, halal industry, we have a lot of challenges that we need to solve. And then agree with Prof. Suhaimi that we need to sit together. In Malaysia, we already consortium, but the consortium should be extended to all the Muslim top universities, top researchers to work together to solve the problem because it is a very, very challenging time at the moment. Yes, this is from my view. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Prof. Suhaimi? Okay, what do you think?
Thank you, Dr. Hendrati. Thank you also to the audience for posting the question. I will answer the question related to the establishment of the consortium. Yeah, actually, it's not that easy. I agree with Prof. Irwandi. It's a big task to form the consortium. In fact, actually, we were discussing about forming the consortium. I think, 10 years ago, but somehow it didn't materialize until the initiative by the ministry. So that's mean in order to form this kind of grouping consortium, we need to get support from the highest authority, like for example the ministry or even the government, yeah. And in order to establish the consortium among the different governments, maybe we need to write on the government to government initiative that already being established. That's my suggestion idea, and so that we can have genuine collaboration and sustainable collaboration or sustainable consortium. Or another approach is that we can write on the non-governmental organization, because in different countries we have non-governmental organization that are recognized by the government. So we can also write on that organization that is recognized and registered in the country to have networking, and then we form the consortium through that approach. Or the third one, I think we can have also the consortium formed among the halal institution from different countries, but that one really need to have good or committed, leader and strong commitment from these various members to materialize the consortium. So and I think we can discuss maybe among the leaders of this institution to sit down and how do we go about it in the future. Thank you, Dr. Hendrati.
Okay, thank you for the insightful regarding how to make any collaboration extended into international movement. Okay, and now how about Dr. Hamida?
Okay, I would like to warning the Muslim for protect the yourself for in about the pathway of their living, including the raw material preparations, production, products, and logistics and transportation to the consumer hand. And Muslim considering the halal certified before you eat something. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you. And there is still one question for Dr. Hamida. I just read it in the chat room. What is the difference of analysis porcine and bovine gelatin between real-time PCR and LCMS or MS? And when I would like to send capsule sample for testing in your organizations? Again, and how are the problems resolved in case of pork contamination in beef in Thailand?
Okay. The first question, both techniques are different from the substrate. In LCM SMS techniques use protein-based techniques, and the real-time PCR use DNA-based technique. And DNA-based methods is higher sensitivity than protein-based. But in some case of DNA-based technique by real-time PCR, after DNA extraction, we must confirm that we got the DNA by measure the concentration of DNA and before to continue the amplified DNA by real-time PCR further. Because gelatin production process might be destroy the DNA. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So we still have time, and I giving the time to all of the speaker. Maybe having like quote or something like that to keeping the awareness or something like that. So Silahkan, it could be from Prof. Irwandi regarding with, because we still have time to make any quote or something like that to all of the audience from all around the world like this. Professor Jasir,
Yeah.
monggo.
Yeah, from me, it is definitely is the challenge ahead of us. Yeah, that the lacking of the technology that we have, I think this is should be resolved. And then we have to take the challenge by putting all our efforts to catch up the lacking. If we compare ourselves with the other countries here, why? Because when we talk about the halal in the future, all the technologies that are predicted to be there, like big data, blockchain technology, and all these things. I think we still do not, we are not capable of mastering it yet at the moment. I know that in some advanced countries, non-Muslim countries, even the slaughterhouse already implement the blockchain technology. But most of the Muslim countries, we do not have this. So the technology incapabilities, I think this is the bigger problem for Muslim world and also for the halal industry itself. Because if the technology is handled, we are not suspicious, we are not suspected, we do not suspect any other country. But if our Muslim do not have this technology, so the halal integrity in the future, as mentioned by Professor Amy, by showing all the future food whatsoever, and then which is actually worrying as actually. So we don't have the technology for authenticate this, and then this is our life would be more difficult even, compared to as of today. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. Irwandi. Silakan, Prof. Suhaimi.
Yeah, I have only a few words that I would like to say. First is that among the Muslim countries or the Muslim scholars and so on, we have to be united, to be strong, and if we divide, then we will fall. Another thing is that when we handle these halal things for Muslim, we have to really do it like we cannot do it remotely or virtually. So we have to really going down to the field, and then we have to make sure the halal process being implemented properly. So there will of course definitely need a lot of work, but we have no choice. Otherwise, I cannot guarantee that what we will be eating is really halal. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And how about Dr. Hamida?
I would like to concern about Muslim society to trust everything that you use and that you eat, trust the product, trust the production, and trust the everything under the COVID-19 pandemic. And finally, trust the halal spice. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so thank you so much for all the respected speakers regarding with all the informations and the insightful regarding with how halal science become one of the biggest concern of all of us. And then I do agree with all of the quotes today regarding with how we can hand in hand, because who else will protect our own regarding with this one, because contextually we know our own issue, problem, and etc. regarding with the innovation and invention of technology. So we are the most important role is come from our own self. I mean our own Muslim society. Okay, thank you so much for the respected speaker for the speech, insightful speech, and thank you for the organizer and also committee for this event. It's really very important to us, especially for me here from Indonesia, to know regarding with this one and giving awareness. and see you next time, next years. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Waalaikumsalam
Waalaikumsalam
warahmatullahi
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much for a wonderful presentation. Thank you all speakers and thank you moderator Dr. Hendrati Devi Mulyaningsi. Thank you. Remind to all participants, I would like you to please complete the online evaluation form, which click link on the chat board of Zoom program or link in Facebook Live or scan QR code on the right hand side of the screen. Now we are going to take a 15-minute coffee break. Thank you. อยู่นะคะทางทีมงานของเราก็ได้เตรียมรางวัลเหมือนเดิมค่ะท่านที่พลาดไปเมื่อวานนะคะวันนี้เราก็จะมีการแจกรางวัลให้อีกนะคะก็จะเป็นรางวัล Gift Voucher จาก Starbucks มูลค่า200 บาทนั่นเองนะคะวันนี้รายชื่อที่ผู้โชคดีนะคะก็อยู่ในมือดิฉันแล้วนะคะก็จะมี6ท่านที่โชคดีนะคะดิฉันจะอ่านรายชื่อทั้ง6ท่านนะคะแล้วใครที่มีรายชื่อดังต่อไปนี้เนี่ยรบกวนเข้าไปกดแชทยืนยันแล้วก็ตามด้วยรายชื่อของตัวเองนะคะทางทีมงานจะได้จัดส่งgift voucher ไปให้กับท่านนะคะท่านแรกนะคะถ้าสมมติว่าดิฉันอ่านผิดอ่านชื่อผิดพลาดประการใดก็ขออภัยด้วยนะคะท่านแรกนะคะนิดานุชบินซาเตะนิดานุชบินซาเตะท่านที่2สุวิทย์โซซันสะสุวิทย์โซซันสะท่านที่3มะรอซีลีโมมะรอซีลีโมท่านที่4นะคะไทยรัฐรุ่งเรืองท่านที่4ไทยรัฐรุ่งเรืองท่านที่5สุภาพรหงส์พิสุทธิกุลสุภาพรหงส์พิสุทธิกุลและท่านสุดท้ายนะคะท่านที่6อัลวานีอีแตคุณอัลวานีอีแตอันนี้ทั้งรายชื่อผู้โชคดีทั้ง6ท่านที่จะได้รับ Gift Voucher จาก Starbucks มูลค่า200 บาทนะคะขอบคุณค่ะ